I moved into an old building the summer I started the late shift at the lake house. My door opened onto a narrow, echoing hallway, and across from me lived a man who kept his door cracked like a held breath. At first, he was just quiet, too quiet, standing in the gap with the dark inside of his place, swallowing the light. The first thing I noticed was that he watched my hands whenever I locked my door, not my face. It made my skin prickle. Then little things started to shift. There were taps on his door timed exactly when I stepped near mine. One afternoon, he knocked 3 slow, patient knocks like he was practicing rhythm. Once he stood in his threshold and asked, flat and calm, "Do you hear them at night?" And when I asked who, he only nodded at my hands. I told myself I was imagining it, but my stomach kept tightening every time I came or went. One night I came home exhausted, and there he was crouched on the mat right in front of my door, not touching it, listening as if the wood had answers. I froze. He stood slowly and said, "No prelude? You shouldn't ignore them." As he slid past me down the hall, I saw his hand dip into his pocket. Every part of me screamed to move, and I did that thing you do when your body outspeeds your mind. I slammed my door, locked it, and called the only person who would pick up at that hour. The police came, were polite, and left with questions I could not answer. The next morning, there was a tiny square of paper tucked beneath my door, one photograph, the close-up of my own hand, printed small like a rumor. After that, I learned to move like I was always being watched. I stopped walking barefoot. I checked the peephole until it fogged, and I put a strip of tape across my door frame so I would know if anyone had been there. I thought moving out was the answer, but leaving felt like admitting surrender. Weeks later, on a morning when the hall was empty and ordinary, I found a new thing under my door. A second photograph, another close-up of my hand, this time with the faintest crease of a fingerprint circled on the paper. The building was the same and the light the same, but something had changed in me. Sometimes I still hear the slow, spaced taps and I pause, hand on the knob, because the worst part wasn't that he wanted to scare me. The worst part was that he had learned how I moved without me ever seeing him move at all.